In this video, I'm going to be discussing one FIS2603 modules past exam papers. Let's begin. Question number 1 is briefly discuss the mechanism of heat loss. There are four mechanisms for the heat loss, which is radiation, convection, conduction, and evaporation. Radiation is the gain or loss of heat in form of infrared rays between human body and element around it with a different temperature. By radiation, body heat itself by absorbing rays of sunshine, and it is also radiation that it loses heat by radiating it out in turn in cold condition. Radiation accounts for majority of heat exchange carried out by the human body. Infrared radiation constitutes the main source of heat loss for the human being. Then we have convection. Convection is defined as the exchange of heat between body and ambient air or water in which it moves. Isothermic point is a temperature below which human body is that particular environment body tend to loses its heat. Then we have conduction. Conduction is defined as the exchange of heat between two bodies in contact without one moving away from the other. For example, example of this action, when a seat stays warm after you have sat on it for a while, is conduction. Evaporation. Evaporation is the loss of heat linked to secretion of water by the body through the body surface. Evaporation can be passive via respiration, air we breathe out is laden with moisture, or active via precipitation, body creates a layer of water on the skin in order to cool down. Next, they ask you for the erythropoietin is the hormone responsible to produce red blood cells. They ask you to draw a flow diagram to explain the production of RBCs when tissue oxygenation decreases. So, here is the flow chart where hemopoietic stem cell give rise to pro-erythroblasts, then red blood cells, tissue oxygenation decreases, and erythropoietin is caused. Factors that decrease the oxygenation include the low blood volumes, anemia, low hemoglobin, poor blood flow, and pulmonary diseases. Next question is describe each type of tissue organ transplant. A transplant from one part of your body to another part is called the autograft, and the process is called the autotransplantation. For example, skin graft use healthy skin to help heal a wound or burn on the other part of the body. Then we have blood vessel graft, provides an alternative route for blood flow to bypass a blocked artery, for example in the heart bypass surgery. A transplant between two people who are not genetically identical is also called the allotransplant, and the process is called the allotransplantation. Transplant between identical twins is called isograft. The recipient will almost never reject an isograft, and so the immunosuppressants are not needed. Transplant between species is also called xenotransplant, and the process is called xenotransplantation. Heart valves from the cow or pig have been used for many years to replace the faulty heart valves in the people. So these are the four types of tissue or organ transplant, which is autograft, allotransplant, isograft, and xenotransplant. Discuss the treatment condition of acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS infant. Include route of transmission, virus replication, development of AIDS, and all the treatment options. AIDS is caused by the HIV virus, which incapacitates the immune system. HIV belongs to retrovirus family, whose nucleic acid core is RNA rather than the DNA. Retrovirus possesses an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, which once the virus is inside a host cell, transcribes the virus RNA into the DNA, which is then integrated into host cell's chromosome. Replication of virus inside the cell causes the death of the cell. So this is the part where you cover the virus replication. Then in the next part, they tell you the causes. HIV causes death of many unaffected helper T cells by apoptosis. Without adequate number of helper T cells, neither B cells nor cytotoxic T cells can function normally. As a result, the AIDS patient dies from infectious and cancer that the immune system would ordinarily readily hinder. The path from HIV infection to AIDS commonly take about 10 years in untreated persons. So now they are talking about the development of AIDS, and then we're going to go over the treatment options. Typically, during the first 5 years, rapidly replicating virus continuously kill large number of helper T cells in lymphoid tissues, but these are replaced by the new cells. Therefore, the number of helper T cells stays relatively normal and the person is asymptomatic. During the next 5 years, this balance is lost. The number of helper T cells as measured in the blood decrease to about half the normal level, but many remain asymptomatic. As the helper T cell count continues to decrease, however, the symptoms of AIDS begin. Infections with bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasites occurs. These are accompanied by the systematic symptoms of weight loss, lethargy, and fever, all caused by the high concentration of cytokines that induce the acute phase response. Certain unusual cancer also occur with relatively high frequency. In untreated person, death usually ensues within 2 years after the onset of the AIDS symptoms. They ask in the question, routes of transmission. So next paragraph covers the route of transmission. Certain unusual cancers also occur. Okay, we did this. The major routes of transmission of HIV are through number one, transfer of contaminated blood or blood products from one person to another. Number two is unprotected sexual intercourse with an infected partner. Number three, transmission from an infected mother to her fetus across the placenta during pregnancy or delivery. And number four is the transfer via the breast milk during nursing. The present recommended treatment for HIV infection itself is a simultaneous battery of at least 4 drugs. Two of these inhibit the action of HIV enzymes that convert the viral RNA into the host cell DNA. A third drug inhibits the HIV enzyme that cleaves a large protein into smaller units required for the assembly of new HIV, and a fourth drug blocks the fusion of the virus with the T cells. So this covers your route of transmission, virus replication, development of AIDS, and the treatment option for the AIDS. Next question they ask you, during a hot summer day, you begin sweating to promote a heat loss from the skin surface. Discuss the mechanism involved in this process in fully. Discuss the mechanism involved in the process in full. Sweating or precipitation is the process of production of fluid from the sweat glands of the skin. It is primarily occurred due to the negative feedback produced for the thermoregulation. There are types of sweat glands, eccrine glands and apocrine glands. When the external environment temperature rises, blood becomes warmer. The receptors of the hypothalamus are stimulated by the rise in the temperature. Hypothalamic set point is reduced and it increases the gain of feedback system of the hypothalamus. After the input, the stimulus has been received by hypothalamus, it is processed and the output signal is sent to the parasympathetic nervous system. This leads to cholinergic secretion. Acetylcholine binds to the receptor to stimulate peripheral vasodilation. This leads to the flushing. Sweating is initiated from the sweat gland, which helps the cooling of the body. Evaporation of sweat causes cooling. This leads to the decrease in the body temperature. This was all for today's video. If you want full notes from the all past papers of 10 years, you can buy my notes from my page on Stuvia from Sciencera Tutors. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe for more.